Coach's Corner is presented by Roanoke Valley Harley-Davidson. Stop by their store on Peters Creek Road for new and used motorcycles, service and repair, along with Harley-Davidson clothing and collectibles.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of Coach's Corner. I'm Mitch, Stewart, and today I'm joined by Dawgs head coach Dan Bremner. Dan, thanks for joining me.
Of course, Mitch.
It was a good 5-0 win to start off your first two-game weekend of the season this past Friday. You guys go on the road to face the Knoxville Ice Bears, and you get the shutout victory. A really good 60-minute effort from your team. What stuck out to you from that game? What was important for you guys to get to that result by the end of the game on Friday night?
Obviously, Glazer played really, really well. And then I was really happy about how the guys made the adjustment for the smaller rink. It's something we talk about going there every time, is everything happens a little bit faster. And we were really dialed in. Our intensity was really, really high in every situation, protecting the puck, moving our feet, looking for options. They did a great job of it. And all night, we seemed to have the step on them. It was one of those games where man to man down the roster just seemed like we had a little bit more energy. We had a little bit more jam on pucks. So those games you come away from thinking like, oh my, that was almost an easy battle. Obviously, the power play was clicking. We were just moving the puck really, really well.
You move into Saturday night's game, and you had just gotten your first win of the season the night before. Knoxville was still hungry, looking for their first win of the season, and you guys mount a good comeback late on, some good fight from you guys down this stretch, but what do you think kind of ended up leading to that result in the 4-3 defeat against the Ice Bears?
I think it's a recognition of, you come from a game early in the year where you feel really good on Friday. You travel overnight, which is just, it is what it is in this league. It's typical. Everybody's doing it, but you get in your bed at 4 a.m. and you wake up the next day and you're, a little groggy and you think you can play the exact same way you did the night before. And our adjustment for guys that maybe didn't have their A game to play a B style, a C style, was way too late. And it wasn't recognized, and they continued to try to do the same things when it was almost a flip-flop. Knoxville's players seemed to have a better step, a heavier stick, a little bit more jam and a little bit more energy in every situation.
You guys end up naming a new captain here this week. Matt O'Day, the second most games played in Dawgs history. Of course, he's been all SPHL in the past. What is it about Matt that he's been able to bring to the locker room in the past when he's maybe been an alternate captain? He's already shown himself as a leader. What sticks out to you about what Matt O'Day brings to this team? Matty
O'Day is a soldier. He is just an absolute soldier. He's a Swiss Army knife. He'll play any position. And he will be all bought in all the time. He'll block shots. He'll skate the puck end to end. He does everything for the team first. Probably a guy that maybe not flashy numbers all the time, but probably a guy that maybe overlooked because of that at times. And he does it all. He leads in the locker room. He leads by example. Really happy to have him kind of leading our way this year.
First time in 4 seasons that you guys have elected to go with 4 alternate captains. You have 2 for the home games, and CJ Valerian and Travis Broman, 2 for away games, and Bryce Martin and newcomer Matt Dorsey. What led to that decision to round out the rest of your leadership group with that quartet of players?
I think it depends year on year, and this year it just seemed like the right. It seemed like that core was the right number, and they were all contributing factors. They were all contributing guys, and getting a guy like Broman back, who's just like as steady as they come as far as a player up and down 200-foot game, and then adding these pieces like Valerian is heart and soul, all heart and soul, man. He's a voice in the locker room. He's a voice on the ice. All 4 of them, Maddie included, like the compete level on those guys is just unbelievable, and the identity of our team when we were trying to think like. This year, making these changes, getting back to that blue collar, that hard-nosed hockey, what we wanted that identity to be. I think the 5 of them as a group really embody what we were looking for. Having Marty with the experience that he's had and coming back, he plays a gritty game. And then with Dorsey, we've been after him for a couple of years, and we love his style of play. He's consistent. He's got great feet. And he doesn't shy away from the hard stuff. And I think, going through what he did last year into a championship only brings, that more experience and value to him.
You've now had 3 games under your belt with this group. Still a lot of time, a lot of games left to go. But at this point, now that you've been with your team for a couple of weeks and maybe a couple of those things are starting to click with them, they're starting to get comfortable in the systems, get comfortable with their teammates. What are the conversations like between you and your assistant coaches or you and the team as far as what you're focusing on the most right now to try and improve early on in the year?
Well, I think it's what you said as far as like comfortable with each other and comfortable with systems. Starting to a bit, I think that was one of the biggest differences in Saturday's game is just like we weren't always where we should have been. And like when you're tired, the mind's the first thing to go, and we're not really thinking, and we're running routes right together. So right now it's a big push. The buy-in is awesome. The compete is awesome. I love this group for that. It's making sure that we can now think the game at a high level when we're tired. So making sure that we understand how to spread the ice and what we're trying to do there as a group is going to be the big next step for us.
You guys had 2 of your first 3 games at home. Now you start a stretch of 12 out of your next 16 on the road here with a road of 3-3, starting in Knoxville on Friday night. Saturday and Sunday, you end up heading over to play the Marksmen in Fayetteville. What are you looking for from your group in this first 3-3 challenge of the season to try to make sure you guys come out with a successful weekend trip?
For us, it's about making sure that we can learn from the last game, the last 2 games, the last 3 games. We're not making the same mistakes. So, it should be a big learning moment for rookies and guys that are just starting the season again, is that Friday night, you might feel pretty good, but Saturday it might not be there. So how we make that adjustment and when we make that adjustment, we got to recognize it in our first couple shifts, maybe even warm up. We understand, hey, I'm just feeling my feet are a little heavy, or your hands aren't clicking the way they should. We got to talk to our line mates and tell them, hey, I'm going to be playing a simple game, and adjust that way so we can still be effective.
All right, Dan, that's all I got for you today. Thank you for your time.
All right, thanks, Mitch.
That's going to do it for this episode of Coach's Corner. The Rail Yard Dawgs on the road this weekend, starting in Knoxville on Friday, Fayetteville on Saturday and Sunday. Next weekend, they're on the road as well down to Birmingham, but make sure that you're back here at the Doghouse in mid-November when the Rail Yard Dawgs host the Peoria Rivermen for a 2-game set. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. We hope you have a great rest of your day.